I spent more time watching the two managers. I think they spoke there about the tactical changes, but just their whole demeanor, their shouting and bawling, you can hear them, what it means to the both managers. These are both world-class managers who've won big prizes. But who
would you rather play for, Pep or Klopp?
Good question, Micah.
Yeah, how long have I got? I probably wouldn't want to play for any of them, because that means I'd have to play for Liverpool or Man City, which wouldn't suit me. But just the two managers, again, you're on about. They talk about your teams reflecting your managers. I think both teams done that well today with, again, hunger and desire from both teams, and we saw that with the managers.
Would you even admit, Micah, that Liverpool are still the team to beat?
No, I have to admit, I've got to be honest, Liverpool are a fantastic team, and I've said all along, to win a Champions League and then to win a league, they're a fantastic team. But Manchester City will be close. I don't know. They're still finding the way. You need Aguero back. Like you said, we mentioned the two centre-halves. Need to create a
We're talking about Liverpool here.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said Man City close to Liverpool. No, I think Liverpool. No, I think Liverpool are a quality team. With Trent being injured and Van Dijk, it's going to cause problems for them. But they're still fantastic. I like the way they play.
I mean, I think last season the big debate was that almost like a blip for City, the points they get, and not just City. Pep Guardiola as a manager, every season he's had, whether at Barcelona, Bayern Munich and City, almost, he's got 90+ points in everyone, and there was a big drop off last season. And you're thinking again this season, is that just a freak and City will go back? I think no team this season has looked anywhere near the best. It's a strange season, the lack of pre-season. City was still in Europe. This season was prolonged last season. But I would say in these early stages, there's possibly been more signs of Liverpool getting back to their best of last season than there has been of City. Really, I think of actually the first half an hour here today and the Chelsea game and Arsenal and Everton, whereas Man City has just been a couple of real performances, and you're sort of just waiting to see as City really click and get back to where they have been in the past. Or is the City team sort of that won the league with 100 points sort of slightly sort of on the decline, if you like, and maybe they may not get those points again. But I don't think any team's going to get the points that we saw in the last couple of years, and that's what gives everyone in this league a shout.
I think the big worry for City, the way you look at them, they're always brilliant to watch and they control most games, but that lack of goals, the lack of goal threat, lack of goals they got in the team. I'm talking about Aguero to come back, but when Aguero came back from his last injury, he looked like he was carrying a bit of weight. I'm thinking, has he still got that hunger and desire? Because then when he comes back, he picks up another injury. I'd like to know what he's doing in his recovery, because he doesn't come back like a lean fighting machine. And Jesus, you can't hang your hat on him. So a big concern for City is that lack of goals.
There is a real cluster at the top of the table, and it's Leicester City that lead the way. 3 points between them and Chelsea in 5th place for now. How would you view City's title aspirations 7 games in for them, Roy?
No, I think it's going to be very difficult for City to win the league this year. Obviously, there was no way they were going to keep what they've done the last 2 or 3 years. It's the same for Liverpool. And, City will be, when you look at their squad and the players they've lost, but also just to go into the season where they're expected to challenge for every competition they're in, to have 2 strikers, and Aguero being 32, having 1 or 2 problems, then just hanging your hat on 1 striker. They'll have to be critical of themselves why they didn't strengthen in the summer on a striker. I know there's obviously other positions they wanted to fill. A centre-half, I suppose, was the priority. So they've got nobody but themselves to blame for being short on strikers. You have to have strength and depth, particularly if you're expected to challenge for all the major trophies. So I don't see City winning the league this year.
Do you agree, Micah?
No, I think it's too. I think if Man City would have lost today, I think confidence-wise to give to Liverpool, but they got in the first half, Liverpool could have been 2 or 3 up. The way City came back into the game and sort of started controlling the game in the second half, possession-wise, I still think they're in for a shout. I do think they need to go back in January to get a striker if Aguero is still not fully fit. The lads mentioned that when he got back, he didn't feel like he was up to speed. And you know what it's like, when you get injury after injury, it's hard to get back to full sharpness. So they need to get someone who's going to be ready
Micah,
to go.
when he came back, my issue with Aguero when he came back, he looked overweight. He looked... God knows what size shorts he was wearing, but he did look really heavy. You know, sometimes you can be out injured and come back and hit the ground running. This idea that players need 2 or 3 months to get back up to speed, I was really worried when he came back. I just thought he looks really, really heavy.
I think it's just because he's been rushed back, though. You know, every time it's like, oh, where's Aguero? Let's get him back. And you know what it's like. Sometimes when you need you so much, you're not even fully fit. You're being rushed back and you're getting judged out on the pitch, and you know you're not really up to speed, but you just got to do it for the team.
Yeah, but it's difficult to get up to speed, but don't be piling on the pounds.
Could a new striker change it all in January?
Well, it would certainly help, but we're going to have the same conversation when you're talking about recruitment in January. It's very, very difficult because all the best players will be tied up with the best clubs and no doubt playing European football. So, you know, that won't be easy.